Section D, and I'm here to report on Module 15 under the topic of producing radio spots, specifically on strong endings. This topic can be found on Module 13 of our textbook. So, the primary reference is Design and Production of Print and Radio DevCom Materials by Lustria, Tabing, and Osalia. So here we have two images. Okay, one is an excerpt from a poem by celebrated Welsh poet Dylan Thomas, published in 1951, entitled "Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night." Now, the reason why that quote found its way to this presentation is because this poem tells us that even if something is about to end, we wish to make its final moments count. Also, coincidentally, the same or a similar sentiment is shared by one of my favorite modern day philosophers named Vanessa Williams, who, in one of her more popular works, strongly suggested that we save the best for last. Okay, now that I have your attention, on a serious note here, let's talk about why creating a strong last impression is just as important as a good first impression, especially when producing radio spots. Now, from a psychological perspective, we need to place significant emphasis on creating strong endings in radio spots, primarily because of the serial position effect. Okay, this term was coined by German psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus. It is when we remember the first and last things in a series best. My sources and the source for this image are at the bottom left of the page. Okay. So this effect discussed two main biases. The first is the primacy bias. It is a phenomenon where we remember the first thing in a series better than the middle ones. The recency bias, on the other hand, is when you remember more recent information than older information. So as you can see from the illustration on the right, we tend to retain more of the first and the last things that we encounter in a piece of information. Now, slide 4. As all of the examples in the textbooks are public service announcement scripts, I have looked for examples with similar messages. Now, in the following slides and on this current slide right here, you may notice that instead of PSA scripts, I have used posters with statements, taglines, or slogans. Now, this is because I couldn't find clear enough scripts to paste here. However, these posters contain statements that would very well translate into our tips in creating strong endings for radio spots. what I would like to ask of you as my audience today is I wish for you to exert an active effort in imagining these statements, slogans, and taglines as endings to radio spots. So the first example that we have here is a punctuating statement. Now, these are sentences with, of course, with, in this case, an exclamation mark to highlight energy or urgency. Don't wait, start now, because it's urgent. So it applies to, say you hear a PSA that asks you to quit smoking, and it ends with don't wait, start now. That is attention grabbing, and it also is brief and powerful. Next, we have thought-provoking questions. On the right, we have a statement that says, been missing out on your dreams. Now, imagine that as part of a PSA of an anti-drug campaign. You would reflect and think, why would I even touch this stuff if it's only going to result in me missing out on my dreams? The next photo is of a glass full of 22 packets of sugar. And it reminds us that it's a question, though it poses a question which says you wouldn't eat 22 packs of sugar. Then why are you drinking them? If this were a radio spot or a PSA from Department of Health, then using this question as a strong ending would make a lot of sense. Here we have strong declarations. We have one from United Nations. It says, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and I blocked the image earlier. So and the other one is we all belong. So these are just declarative statements, and you can use this for social campaigns. The examples of the previous declarative statements are very well applicable to campaigns that are promoting social change. Now, we, of course, wouldn't want to miss out on the pleasant or amusing repartee or comical notes in some reminders, some slogans and taglines or endings to, let's say, a radio spot. For example, you hear a radio spot that ends with pull up your pants. No one wants to see your underwear. It could be used for a radio spot reminding the youth of how to dress appropriately. And this one is just say no, please don't take pictures of your wiener, I believe. It reminds the youth. Say it can be used for a radio spot that would again remind the youth not to participate in lewd or vulgar digital netiquette. Resolution of conflict. See, these are very simple and simple yet moving statements. Peace is cheaper, war is costly. It does make a lot of sense how we spend millions, how millions of dollars, not not the Philippines in particular, but how millions of dollars are spent to fund wars and use words, not weapons, to promote peace. And okay, so provocative endings. This is not exactly, referring to the context is unknown, but let's say the tagline is, "Are you hot enough for us?" Okay, what if that tagline or that ending was used, say, by a health clinic for a radio spot that promotes safety against rising cases of dengue. So depending on the context, it's still provocative, but it is not necessarily vulgar. The next one is Got Milk. This is a known campaign by a dairy organization, I believe, to promote drinking milk. And now we have a funny image, but what matters is the statement. It says, "Can you hear me now?" Okay. Imagine that as being part of a campaign to uh, encourage women to speak up about BAUSI issues. Okay. So now here on the last slide, we have clear reminders. These are very straightforward. Eat your veggies and speak up. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. And I hope we all are able to accomplish all our tasks for this course. Have a good one. Bye bye.